Namaste. I am Dr. Robert Henry Schwenk, a.k.a. Dr. Bob for You, coming to you from Norwalk, Ohio, and Studio for You. All information you might like to have can be found at the end of this video. If you have comments or questions, they can be addressed to me as well. If you're watching on YouTube, you can place your comments or questions in the section below. Today's topic is the meaning of life and the fire within. He did not have the fire in the belly necessary for it. That is what I remember General Colin Powell saying when he asked if he would run for president. In other words, he did not feel motivated from within to withstand all the rigors of running for and being the President of the United States of America. You look for motivation a little or a lot, depending on your place in life at this moment. Teenagers are not motivated to get up out of bed on days off from school. Athletes are often motivated by the opportunity to compete and or win. Women are sometimes motivated to please a gentleman in order to win his heart, marriage to follow. Parents often find a drive within themselves to provide the best they can for their children. Workers may find a hidden, suddenly come to light incentive to work harder and better to gain the promotion being offered. Motivation comes in many forms. It is sometimes called the fire within, but some folks see it a different way. These seem to believe that you, all and each of humankind, are containers that need filling. We actually already are filled with all the fuel we will ever need. Now, this may not seem like an important distinction. Let me try to show you there is a cosmos of difference and why it matters what you are in your life to be filled or already filled. Those who think themselves an empty vessel to be filled are waiting for someone else to do the filling. They also try to persuade in the following manner: you and I need to be filled with a certain specific type of filling, or it won't be right. Most often we see this need to fill others in religion and politics. One clergy person believes, along with his division of religion, that unless you, yes, you are filled the way he prescribes, you cannot be, are not, blessed and complete. That attitude only leads to unhappiness and the misplacing of meaning. The worst case scenario following this idea is that one through a narrow view of life and the world ends up dissatisfied at best, but suicidal at worst. It is true that many people do not look at their lives long enough to recognize that they are being filled by someone with an arbitrary agenda. Once convinced, they go along for the ride. To say that you need to be filled is a vilification of who you are. This attitude assumes that you are empty and bereft of meaning and happiness. The thing is, you are not empty of meaning and happiness. Meaning and happiness are already within you. You only need a jump start from the all-pervading consciousness of the universe to bring them alive. Very much like lighting a campfire. You gather the fuel, you stack it up in a way that supports the beginnings of a nifty little or a nifty big campfire. The fuel is stacked just right, so to speak. All it needs then is a spark of ignition. Something already burning at the ignition temperature of the stacked fuel is touched to the fuel, and voila, you have fire. You are very much like that metaphor. You are born with all the fuel you will ever need, already stacked neatly and waiting for the spark. But first, do you see the difference? First, do you see the difference in attitude? The first attitude suggested, more like overbearingly demanded, that you are empty at birth. You have no worth except that what someone puts into you from the outside. The second way of looking at you is to see you as filled already at birth. You have everything you need right now. You are whole and complete as you are. All you need is a spark of the divine to ignite you into a strong, healthy fire. You are not empty of substance at birth. You are ablaze to be ignited. This is the authentic view of you. I know that there might seem to be a subtle difference between these two. The two views may even seem insignificant in the differences, but they are as night and day, as serving as president and serving in retirement. Nothing wrong with retirement. I'm retired after 40 years myself. Or as different as letting life happen to you and making your own course in the world. When you just let life happen to you, you are life's slave. You are slave to anyone who wishes you to be his way or no way. When you take charge and make your own route through life, you are free. You are the master of your own life. You need only to be kindled by the divine spark. Feeling full and complete requires only that you catch fire. Motivation is not a slave driver when you understand it is your life being edged closer to the spark. Motivation is when you want to be ignited by the fire that you may burn as brightly as possible. When you find the fuel within and ask to be ignited by the spark of the universe, you are no longer or not ever a slave to other people or other ideas. You are free to find meaning and accept happiness in your life. This has been Dr. Bob for you. Comments and questions are always welcome. And please remember these words from Sam Keen. The power, potential, promise of your being is integral to being, becoming itself. Namaste.